If you're working on Rally and you're looking to understand how Rally works in real life, how we can create the account, as well as understanding the detailed concept of Rally, like creation of the projects, creating defects, managing the items, backlogs, and everything, then you are at right place. In this video, I'm going to cover Rally from scratch, where we are going to create an account which is definitely free of cost if you have any business email ID. Along with this, if you want to learn each and every steps of Rally, be available from start to end of this video. I've already created more than 60 videos on Rally, which covers different topics, different functionality of Rally. If you wanted to learn about Rally, feel free to refer my entire Rally playlist. Hi everyone, welcome to ragokul.com. I'm Deepak Rai and I always create important videos on technologies. If you wanted to learn more from me, feel free to hit like and subscribe button and don't forget to press bell icon. Otherwise, if I will upload a new video, you might miss. To start with the rally, I'm going to tell you very important part how you can create a rally account free of cost without paying anything for your learning. So this is the rally dev account. First, you have to navigate it to broadcom.com. From there, raise a request. Specify the details about why you are looking for. Is it learning point of view? Are you exploring anything? Once you'll submit the request, Broadcom team will verify your request, and if they found you are raising the request for January regions, they will give you the access for free of cost. This process might take several days. Once the approval is done, you can use this account forever, but with limited user onboarding. As of now, my account is here. I'm using for limited user onboarding, majorly for creating tutorials and all. Once you have the account generated, you will be available on the screen. An important part is whenever you will create an account, make sure to enter your business email ID. It will never work with Yahoo or Gmail. So better create accounts with business email ID, that is corporate email ID. Once this is done, we will navigate it to the screen. From here, you can create a project. Go to this home sections and from here, go to setup, and from the setups, you can create a workspace. So workspace is the bigger piece of work where you can manage different projects or multiple projects together. If you will not create a workspace, and if there is existing workspaces are available, you can simply expand this and create a new projects from here. If you wanted to create a workspace, click on create workspace, and from here I will define demo workspace. Provide the descriptions, what is the state of it, time zone, whichever time zones you want, Pacific or majorly I'm from selecting Asia, Kolkata. This is my email ID. Define project access for new user, date and time format, whichever date and time formats you want, you can select it. Date format, you can define this. Enable build and change sets, you can enable it. Automatically unblock portfolio items, yes, I wanted to do this. Now, these are the terminologies. If you will create user story, it will always start with US as a initials. So US, if you are creating first user story, it will go US1. If you are creating 10th user story, it will go with UX 10. Defects will be DE. So these are initials. So whenever you'll create any items, this initials will go along with it for all the items. Units and planning. So plan estimates units are points or estimates we can keep it hours. Totally depending on our project's requirements. Require parent fields. If you want, you can add it. Otherwise, we'll skip. Display labels. If you want, we can even update these labels, as well as here we have admin capabilities where we can add, purge, recycle bin, restrict time box management. I don't want to restrict it. Restrict product admin can manage work rules. If you want, we can create it. Otherwise, any member will have the access of restrictions. Click on create and this workspace will be created successfully for us. Once the workspaces are created, under this window, you can add any projects as per your requirements. I'm adding here AWS project. We'll click on create. This project will be created successfully under demo workspace. Once I will click on this, here we have users list. As of now, I'm the single user. That's reason I can see myself. Field, revision history, work rules, everything is defined here. I don't want to add anything into this, and that's the main reason I will navigate it to the main workspace sections, and from here I will change my workspace. So let me refresh this page. This is my new workspace I have created. I can see each and every wizards available. As of now, it's selected AWS projects. The item which I will be able to see here is my AWS project data. Till now, I did not create any records. That's reason I cannot see much here. But we can add a number of items as and when required. Here, I will just select backlog, and from the backlog, I will be able to add any items. So backlog is nothing but number of items to be picked up in coming sprints or incoming time boxing. If we wanted to add any items, it always go into the backlogs, and this will be done by product owner. Product owner is whole and sole responsible for backlog, and he or she will maintain the entire backlog within any project management tool. For creation of backlog, we have to just click on add new, and from here we have to define the backlog data, what I wanted to create. As of now, I wanted to add user story. User story is a small item of work which team has to pick it up, where we have to define the name of that user story. If we wanted to create a details view, we will just navigate it to the details view, provide the name. Consider a scenario where team has to build S3 bucket. I will provide here S3 bucket, add the descriptions. So when product owner will add the descriptions, they will add I want S3 bucket to be created with certain functionality. So product owner will define all those functionality name here. After that, he will see definition of done, that is DOD, will be dev, QA and UAT completion. So once these three teams will fix it, then only we will be able to close it. Status will be ready, or if you want, we can mark it to block if we have any challenges. Drag if we have any attachments. So product owner will add details about it with the attachments and notes. Here we can see color codes, owner name, what is the project where we are including, and state will be always schedule. Flow state is defined, plan estimate. Accordingly, we can add parents are if we have bigger piece of item like epic features and all, we can tag it. Tags, if we wanted to add any tags which is defined or labels, we can include it here. If we have any releases, we can tag it. Otherwise, we'll click on create. Once we'll click on create, this item will be created successfully. And as I mentioned, it always start with user story as the initials and then the number. Once we have created, you can see here the user story one is created successfully, where we can press watch, where whenever any actions will be done, we will get notified. Here we can add new, copy, delete, convert, these different operations we can perform. If I wanted to divide user story into different smaller items, I can easily do it. Consider three teams are working on this user story, and accordingly they will estimate their plan. So this estimations will be done, or the work will be done by three team members. Dev task, I will add dev task, then QA task, after that UAT. So these three items has been created successfully, where we have defined, then the status is in progress, and we have completed. So these three items will be added successfully. If we want, we can even copy this task, where we can edit, delete, copy, add peers, ranking lower and higher, move to the positions. These all operations we can do it. If we want, even we can copy from the other projects as well. So if we have any task which is present into the other projects, we can easily copy it. If we wanted to add any child items, we can easily add it from here. Any items which is coming under user story, we can include it. Like when I mentioned S3 bucket, what is the size of the S3 bucket? What needs to be included? We can define it here. And whenever testing team will start doing the testing, they can add their test cases within test case tab. Test run, we can even automate the process or manually update the details in test run. While doing the testing, if testing team found defects, they can add it within this user story, or they can create it directly within the board and tag it this user story as a parent. If there is any discussions done, we can update it here. So whatever task I did, all the history will be included quickly, where which person is doing what's their actions, they can see it here. And very important part, if you have any dependencies related to this user story, it would be visible here. Same for risk as well. If we have specified any risk, that risk will be available within the risk tab. This is how we can create user story. Let me show you how we can add defect. Defect is nothing but the functionality of features which is not a part of requirement, or this is the area where if we are dragging behind or dragging from the intentions, then we are calling as defect. So consider S3 is not working, S3 is down while connecting with third party application. So this is my title of the defect. Under that, we have to define detailed steps, what we have achieved. So here I will provide steps to reproduce as one. After that, what is the actual issues which we are facing, expected behavior, and if any preconditions. For doing this, what is the preconditions of it? We have to define. And finally, if you have any additional node, we can add it. So if you'll follow this structure, what happened whenever developers or superior will see this defect, By reading the steps, they will be able to understand what is the issues and how we can reproduce. If you're not defining defects, details, the problem is there will be a to and through emails or to and through comments will be added. Nowadays, the major problem is normally tester is reporting defect by providing just single line. And by this way, they are jumping into multiple call for the explanations. To avoid these situations, normally we are doing providing the detailed steps so that teams can add it, and if possible we can attach any videos or screenshots of defect. Here we have project name which needs to be tagged, state, what is state, schedule state, flow states and all. If we wanted to include any parent items like portfolio items, user story and all, we can define it. Test cases will come later. If we wanted to tag test cases while doing the testings, we found it, we can also add it. What is the milestone? Expedit. These all details will be required. Environment is nothing but in which environment we found this defect. QA, UAT, staging, any environment where we found. If we found this defect in productions, we need to tag to it. Priority, what is the priority of the defects? How sooner we want these defects to be fixed? And severity shows the criticality of the defects, how critical that defects, which is impacting to our functionality. Submitted by the person who is going to create defect, found in which build, and once the developer will fix it, we have to define it to fix in the build. These details are helping us to understand what is the defects for, why it occurred, what is the preconditions, in which build we found this defects, what is the release test case, everything will be included here. And once it is done, we'll click on create. It always start with initial DE and defect ID is 1, DE1. And because this is a defect, it's tagged with the parent user story. We can directly jump into the user story and you can see there's a one defect reported under this. So it's a very quick way where we can report defects, and after reporting, you can see it here. Once the defect is reported, afterwards as well, you can update it. If you wanted to make a new copy, delete, convert and all, this can be easily doable. We can even mark this as a duplicate, or once the development is done or fixing of this defect is done, we have to do testing. So test case executions will be done. And at any point of time, you think this defects needs to be updated, we can quickly update it. Let me go to plans and from here go to backlog. Now we jump into the backlog where we have one user story and one defect created successfully. Along with this, we can also create defect suits, defects, and any other fields which is required. Here we have user story, and whichever user story we will create, that user story will be available in this case as well. Consider we wanted to update the states, we have to just select the next fields and this will get updated. And the moment will mark as completed, these defects will be highlighted under completed bucket. We can also apply filters. So if we have bigger or long list of items available on screen, we can either search it by this way or apply the filter so that what we are looking for will be visible. If we wanted to include or show more number of fields within this table, we can just check the box and that field will be listed. So this is a very quick and easy way. And if you can observe closely, this display is similar for all the screens. So this is a tabular view where we can see, or list view where we can see each and every items are available in this screen. Next is time boxing. In Rally, we have three states in time boxing available: release, iterations, and milestone. So time boxing is nothing but how we are categorizing our items within certain range. Consider we have five user story created, two are falling in release 1 and rest two are falling in release 2, and one is coming under release 3. The scope of release 1 is two items or two user story. Scope of release 2 is two user story, and release 3 will be just one. So it means within the release 1, developer will release two items, and once this will be released, QA team will start doing testing. And once QA is done, they will forward that release to UAT as well. This is how agile approach works, and normally we are calling as n-1 as a sprint. Let's talk about time boxing in Rally. Time boxing is nothing but we are dividing tasks in certain time frame. Either that can be releases, it means whichever features we are releasing within the scope that will comes under releases, iterations or milestone basis. Each and every time boxes will be tracked within the certain time frame. It always have start and end date. That's the reason we are calling as time boxing. We'll see all three components together. First, start with releases. Every product starts with small chunks, and these chunks will be named as releases. Consider team decided to deliver some functionality in release 1. So they will add release 1, and whenever we create releases, it always assigned with the projects. And here we will give release 1.0. It always have a start date, so consider we are starting from 14th and we are ending in two sprints. States is in planning, or maybe we can add as an active. This release has been added successfully. Similarly, we can also add R1.1. This will have start dates from this to next week 4th. As of now, this is in planning phase because we cannot have multiple releases active within the same time frame. Let me add one more, that is R1.1, and here I'm giving the start dates after 4th. So here we'll add till 19. This is also in the planning phase. If we want, we can create with details. As of now, it's not required. To handle these releases or these versions, we'll have options where we can add, select all, whichever fields we want, we can edit it. If we want to delete, we can click on delete and this releases will be deleted successfully. We have updates options also available. Once we will create the releases, we can update it at any point of time. There's filter options are also available. Whichever fields you want to get it added, we can include it within the releases. This is comes under releases. And when we'll add any issues and tag with this releases, it will be available for us. So consider we have some user story and I wanted to tag this user story with release R1.0. So we'll search for release and we have 1.1. We'll save it. This user story will be available under release 1.0, and you can see artifacts are added successfully. This is how we can tag any data within the release time box. Let's see iterations. Similar like releases, Iterations also hold some user story or details. However, under iterations, we can have releases. So if we wanted to create one iterations, I will add iteration one and start date will be, let's consider I wanted to add the iterations as this and this is in planning phase. We'll create it. If I want, I can even do linking existing data, but I wanted to create one more so that we'll have some records. Iterations 2. This will have start dates from 28th to 11th. I'm also keeping this into the planning phase. If I want, I will go to here in user story. I will create another user story for RTOS. We'll create it. And once this is created, I can definitely go ahead and tag this. The data which is created will be available under iterations 1. Here I will just simply go to this and check for artifacts and we have this data available. If we wanted to update any of those details from the iterations, we can define it. Details, it means what we are going to cover within this iterations. In this iterations, either we can target about hot priority issues or we can target about different functionalities to be covered. We can also cover some defects within these iterations. There will be a different purpose where we can use these iterations in our real life. In terms of projects, projects always have different functionalities to be covered. Whether we can target about the functionalities, whether we can target about any hot fixes or incidents or top priority defects, which we will focus it here. But when we are dealing with these time boxes, dependence on the company structure, depending on the environment, depending on the teams, we can use it for different purpose. In terms of theme, you can add the detail about it. Notes, we can also include it. If we have any planned velocities, we can add it so that we can see different history. If we wanted to enable any other fields or disable some fields, we can do it very quickly. Once I will apply, this field will be hidden from my screen. Artifacts informations can be managed with different where we can edit, remove, delete, copy, or even we can split. We can even add PO, adding child items. Split it means if we have user story bigger in size and we wanted to divide into two parts where one part will be taken care by one team members, another part will be other team members, then we can do the splitting. There could be a different ways as well, like if one part will be get it done in iteration one and second part won't be able to cover within this iterations, we can move it into the next iterations as well. So these things can be doable within the rally itself, and it's very easy to manage the entire stuff related to our iterations. Let's talk about milestone. Milestones are nothing but the goals which we are setting up for our team members. And without the goals or without the purpose, the project moments cannot be shown. Consider we wanted to deliver WhatsApp applications, and these WhatsApp applications cannot be built within one chunk. There could be a different functionalities, different features to be included, and these can be achieved based on the milestone. Without that, it won't be possible to cover each and everything. So let's see how we can create, manage milestone within Rally. For creating a milestone, we have to just click on add new under the time boxes. And from here, I will add feature one. We'll define the target dates. So here we'll add the target dates. We'll click on create details. select the projects, whichever projects we want. I wanted to create in AWS, and if we want, even we can add show templates. Once this is done, we'll click on create and this milestone will be added successfully. When we will go to the time boxes, we can see it here. The color code is defined as this color, but we can change these color codes. If we wanted to make it to blue, we can add it. What all item counts we have within this milestone, we can add it. The moment we will add artifacts, the item counts will get increased. If I wanted to add some user story, I will just check, and here we'll add AWS replica, click on create. We have added one user story. Let me add one more, schema design. When I will go back to the time boxing, from here we will have this milestone, and you can see the counts artifacts is available here, but we can also see on screen there are two counts. Total project counts, we can also see it here. Within this milestone we have one project, but we can add multiple projects as well. From here we can select two projects, and you'll see the target available within this milestones will be visible for two projects. So depending on your project's requirements, we can add one or multiple projects. Depending on the size of the milestone, what is our target, what is our goals to be achieved. Whenever you want, we can update any of those fields within the milestone. If you wanted to include any artifacts or linking existing artifacts, that is also possible, where we can add from other projects as well. So consider we have sample projects, and from here, I wanted to search any of those items. We can easily add the details within this milestone. The charts will be also prepared depending on the data added within the milestone, and here you will see burn up chart is generated. Within the milestone, we can also see points to be covered within the milestone, cumulative flow fields, cumulative flow states, everything is available here. In the revision history, who is updating what can be visible. So this all three comes under time boxing within Rally, which will be really helpful when we are working with the projects. The more we'll progress, you learn more. Stay tuned and try to implement this in your real life. Try to practice by pausing this video. If you have any questions or queries, feel free to reach out to me.